what is it that the world's most successful people are doing that everybody else isn't? Why are some people really successful, right? And I started wondering, there must be doing something that everybody else isn't doing, right? That's what I started to wonder. So I made it kind of a lifelong study. Every time I'm around somebody that I admire that's been successful, and whatever they do, by the way, I started to ask the same set of questions to understand. And it turns out that there are habits and disciplines, practices that successful people do everywhere. And that's when I started to notice that, for example, I mentioned somebody like Steve Wozniak or Mark Randolph, who I'll be with tomorrow, that invented Netflix. But then friends of mine like Pitbull, the singer, is a friend of mine. They're similar in ways you'd never guess, right? Pitbull's a singer, Mark's an engineer, but they have similar attitudes, habits, and practices. So one of those is that these people are trying to absorb information from a world broader than their own, right? And so to answer your question, the habit is I just made up this word. I call it info sponging. But I challenge myself, like, for example, the first time Pitbull called me, I was like, okay, you're Mr. Worldwide. Why are you calling me? And he said, because I want to learn business now, right? And he said, all my friends are in music. You're in business. Teach me business. And I thought, that's pretty smart that he's wants to continue to grow his lifelong learning. The most successful people don't just study in their field. They look to see what everyone else is doing. So really quick, info sponging, the idea that I created was every day, I'm going to challenge myself to learn one new thing every day. But here's the important thing that I don't need to know. So for 10 minutes every day, this is what I'll challenge your listeners. For 10 minutes every day, and I usually do this first thing in the morning, 15 minutes. If you can't do it every day, do it once a week. I go out to learn one thing that is not in my industry. So if you were in travel, so for these 10 minutes, you're not in travel and you don't work for your company, go read one article, watch one video, talk to one person. And at the end, I write down one sentence of what I learned today. But when I write it down, I'm like, I have no idea what that even means, right? Today. But I want you to think of knowledge like puzzle pieces. If I gave you a piece of a puzzle and I said, Jorge, what is this? You'd say, you gave me one piece, Jeff. If I gave you two or three, you wouldn't know. But if every day I kept giving you pieces out of the box of the puzzle and you moved them around the table, one day you would call me, right? And you would say, oh, this is a cathedral. That's what it's going to be. You would see the pattern forming. That's what the most successful people do with knowledge. They collect bits of knowledge and they push it around the table and they, oh, I see a trend coming that no one else sees. So info sponging, learn one new thing a day that you don't need to know. Write down one sentence of what you learned, and then some days just stare at that list, and you will start to see patterns before anyone else sees them.